What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Woke as Fuck. This is your host, Maximilian Webster, and I am so excited to have you here. If you're here listening, that means you are here for some positive inspiration. You're looking to tap into your spirituality, you're interested in self care, personal development, and conscious conversations around things that truly matter. So kick back, relax, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode.
So today, you all, we have a repeat offender. Just kidding. We have Erin Call back with us, and Erin is a soul success coach for female entrepreneurs, focusing on mindset, energy, and manifestation. We were talking in a group call last Monday about this idea of safety and how during these turbulent times of the COVID-19 outbreak, you probably might be listening to this at another time, but when we're recording it, it is March 31st, 2020, and we are in the thick of it. So we just wanted to share some practical tools, maybe some mindset shifts and perspective changes that can really empower you to make you feel more control and more safe in this whole pandemic that's going on. So Erin, welcome on to the podcast. Well, we're kind of doing a joint podcast today, but so excited to have you here. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I love this topic because I do see, and I actually just in the past 24 hours have had several conversations with people that are experiencing this. It's almost like this polarity of like this desire to be like, oh my gosh, I'm ready to step into my power. I'm ready to really use my gifts. This time is shifting things within me, but also this sense of like, ooh, I'm not 100% sure what to do with it. It's bringing up things that are uncomfortable. This sense of safety has essentially been ripped away because a lot of people had put their safety in things outside of themselves. It's very natural.
Mm-hmm.
That's the old, patriarchal paradigm of, this box definition of success, this box definition of like what life is supposed to look like. And, it was like a Jenga tower. We knew it wasn't sustainable. It was like teetering on its last leg. And now it's been pulled and the rug essentially has been ripped out from underneath a lot of people. And now they're being called to create this sense of safety and security, I believe, within themselves. And that's scary.
Big time. I feel like many of us are feeling probably like a fish out of water, just like you were saying, we were so reliant on this system and we kind of knew this whole time that it was sustainable, but now it's like, oh, people are out of work, people are being stuck at home. And it's like, wow, this sense of the normal is gone right now. So my thing is, how can we regain that sense of control and safety within ourselves so that we can start making the steps necessary to start doing the things that we've wanted to do for a long time, but maybe have been putting off?
Yeah, 100%. It's like, how can we shift into this new paradigm? I mean, I thoroughly believe it's creating space for a new paradigm that says and I don't like to use should, have to, must, but you're being called to, or you're being given the opportunity to create the sense of safety, within yourself. And I think the number one thing is the awareness that that's what you want to do. The awareness that the old way is not going to work. The awareness that you can keep fighting it, but that's where you're feeling the resistance and the uncomfortableness, looking at the current reality or looking at the things outside of you to dictate how you feel, hence cause and effect, versus you being the one that gets to cause the effect in the world or, in your reality. And in order to be the one that causes the effect, we have to actually look within inside of ourselves at the old stories that aren't serving us, at the shadows that are being highlighted, at the things that are coming up that feel really uncomfortable. Like maybe, I have to work really hard and struggle to create success. Well, that's not going to work anymore. Or maybe, the economy is going to shit, so that means like everything's going to fall apart for me. Or, I mean, there's so many different things that are coming up and being highlighted for people, or identity shifts. I'm seeing that with a lot of people. I don't know if you're seeing that, where it's like, I have put my identity in my career this way. Now this is opening up the world to me, and maybe I can shift my business online. Maybe I can start actually like saying the things I want to say and being
Mm-hmm.
me, but I am afraid to be seen in this new identity. I'm afraid to be seen in this space as almost like a more authentic, but a different version of me. And
Mm-hmm.
all of these things that are coming up are things that need to be looked at. Once we can look at those things and create new beliefs that are in alignment. And when I say alignment, I think you'll agree with me, but alignment isn't a buzzword. It simply means when the thoughts and beliefs in our mind, which is our brain's language, right, are in alignment with the desires and the feelings in our body. That's our body's languages. So our head and our heart are in alignment, right? Then we get to powerfully move forward and shift our reality. But it's not until we look at the things that we can do that, right? Do you feel me?
Totally, totally. I agree 100%. You're speaking my language. So, what are some practical steps for those people out there that are listening that really are ready to make that shift? They're ready to shift an identity. They're ready to step into that place of empowerment and alignment. What would you say you would recommend to start moving that process forward?
There's so many tools.
Right.
I would say the first thing is obviously gain the awareness, right? So the first thing is like make friends with your feelings. The
Hmm.
things that are coming up are not wrong or bad or good or anything. Our consciousness or our ability to attach meaning to these things are what direct our energy. So can you look at your fears and say, okay, what is this trying to teach me? Can you reframe your fears? So that's the first thing is like, if your fear is telling you, I'm going to, I don't know, my business is going to fall apart or whatever the thing is, can you reframe it and say, okay, no, this is giving me the opportunity to create creative solutions. I'm willing to see this differently. So that's step number one. And then I think a huge thing, and I know you're really into this, is like meditation, quiet time with yourself, like ground yourself outside. Those are very simple, practical things that will massively change your energy. There is an electromagnetic, frequency in the earth, right? And we're so disconnected from the earth in and of itself with this sounds silly, but like even just shoes we wear, like no one's barefoot, right?
Hmm.
So we aren't grounded into that sense of safety and security that a simple thing like the earth can create for us. So like go outside, put your feet on the ground, sit down for a few minutes. If you're new to meditation, like just breathe, allow yourself to breathe and focus on your breath. Any thoughts that come up, let them pass by you. Like let them come in and out. Don't judge them. Don't sink into them. Literally, if you have to, and this is kind of a technique I tell my people that are newer to meditation, think of like 2 words that feel good to you. Maybe it's abundance and love or whatever.
Hmm.
And when you're breathing in, just say like abundance, love. And like you have to focus on the words and you have to focus on your breath, which will essentially like get you out of the headspace of trying to fucking analyze everything.
Hmm. Totally,
So
totally.
that's probably the first thing.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. You know me, I'm a huge advocate for establishing that emotional and energetic foundation so that you can show up more powerfully in your life for the things that you want to show up for. And another thing that I would add to just the meditation is actually sitting down and writing down and getting a plan for what am I going to do with this time that I have. Maybe you have less time, or even if you have more time, it's like, how can you get more clear as to how you're going to be spending your time and energy in this time so that you can make the most out of it. I know a lot of people are probably spending this time binging Netflix or getting back into their creature habits, maybe overeating or doing things that maybe they're trying to just numb this feeling. So I think that's a great thing that you brought up, is making friends with your feelings. I love that so much.
Yeah, I think, and that's a thing that we don't want to do. It's like making friends with your shadow. It's like, no,
Mhm.
that's darkness. I want to push it away, but it's really powerful. And I love that you said some practical things, because I think something I've done with my clients is like, okay, this is a beautiful time to reevaluate your values, your core beliefs, your standards,
Mhm.
meaning if you look at your health, what do you value? Well, I value going to the gym 5 days a week, and I value drinking a lot of water, and I value going on a walk, a couple times a week, or whatever. Okay, now I'm in the house. Let me look at, have I thrown those values out the window? And if I have, let's reevaluate. How can I get creative? Maybe how can I join an online workout class? How can I,
Mhm.
like, if your certain standards for your business are it always gets to keep growing. I always show up and
Mm-hmm.
share my heart and soul. I'm always networking. I sell my stuff because I know that it helps the world at large.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if those are your standards and values, like, where have you shifted? You know what I mean? And if your values and standards were not where you wanted them to be prior, that's okay. Let's look
Mm-hmm.
at them from a space of, if I knew I was going to come out on the other side of this stronger and more aligned, and I use this time to really get in touch with myself,
Mm-hmm.
then what would I believe? Then what would I be doing? Then how would these areas of my life, maybe my health, my relationship to myself and my spirituality, my business or my career, and my relationship with my family, friends, whatever, what would those look like if I was that version of me coming out on the other side stronger? And then get acquainted with those things and create, daily habits that are basically creating a positive feedback loop. So when you do them, you're essentially telling your brain and your body, like, oh yeah, look what happens when I watch, I don't know how to say it, but I love it. Is it called Gaia? Like the Netflix
Mm-hmm.
spiritual, like, okay, I'm doing that instead of binging on Netflix. Not that there's anything wrong with a little Netflix sometimes, but like, I'm growing myself instead of sinking into this space of retreat. I'm actually not retracting, I'm actually expanding.
Totally. I love everything you just said. I mean, personally, I went through a identity shift slash raising of my own standards about 3 months back, and that was just a major shift for me for the time that we're in now. I think if this would have happened any other time, I would have been like, oh my gosh, I still have to do all these things. I have to go to these places. And a big shift for me is actually the way that I'm carrying myself and the way that I show up. Just even waking up in the morning and having those habits of like, okay, making my bed, tidying up, getting that time for meditation and focus. And this time where everyone's quarantined, I got the idea, hey, I'm going to show up live on Facebook more often. And that's actually something that's led to more portals of abundance for me in terms of my business. So I think we're not just blowing smoke over your ass and just trying to say self-help things. This is things that we're actively doing and we're seeing the results, which is why we want to share this with you, because it's really important. And it sounds so basic and fundamental, but it's really the basic and fundamental things that are going to make the most profound effects and changes in our lives. And that's why we're sharing this with you today. We really want you to use your time and your energy now in a way that's going to put you in a place of empowerment, like we talked before.
Yeah, 100%. Something I actually do that I love. Um, a simple thing. I rearranged the furniture in my bedroom so that my bed is up against my giant window. I have this huge window, and I'm the only two-story house like in my general vicinity, and I have an entire view. If you guys don't know, I live in Phoenix. I have an entire beautiful view of South Mountain. So, and I leave my windows open at night. So every morning I wake up and hear birds, and I see, well, I wake up at 4:30, so it's still dark. But by the time I'm done doing like my reading and my meditating and my just little like connection to self routine, I hear the birds and I see the mountain view, and I just like thank God that I'm healthy, my business is thriving, even when it feels uncomfortable, even when I'm scared of what's next. And that simple practice of gratitude is really, really powerful. And another practical thing I did, which kind of lends itself to what we were just saying, is, and I do this probably at least every quarter, if not more frequently, but I get colored pens out and paper, and I basically write down, the next level version of Erin and the next level version of Soul Naked CEO is, and I write down all of the things that it encompasses and embodies. I write down all the things that I feel as that version of me. So if I was already, 7-figure Erin or whatever, I write down, all of those things. And then I do another paper where it says the next level version of Erin believes. And then a third one says the next level version of Erin does. And then the last one says, core, most powerful, clear, concise message is. These 4 pieces of paper with all of the beautiful stuff that is really just an expression of my soul. And if you don't have a business, like I think most of your people are entrepreneurs, but if you don't have a business, it could simply be for your life or your relationship. And I literally look at myself in the mirror and I read these every morning, and it takes me, I don't know, 3-4 minutes. And it just elevates my energy, because it's like, yes, this is who I get to be. This is who God or source created me to be. And I believe that for all of us. No one's more special. Like, everyone gets to have that.
I love that so much. It's almost like as the world is going through this collective change and paradigm shift, we can also ride that waves and be a part of that change through our own personal transformation. And that's what I'm really excited about the most. It's like, yay, like more people are waking up, more people are tuning into themselves, more people have time to sit down and do nothing and sit with their emotions. Like, that shit is amazing.
Oh my God, it's so true.
So I guess finally, my last thought, and I forgot to mention this before our little debrief call, but my overall message for you guys today is to just return back to the basics and remember that this too shall pass. Everything in life is temporary, and we have a finite amount of time on this earth. So please make sure that you're using it in a way that's going to make you look back at the end of your life and say, you know what, I those things were difficult, but I made it through. I did the thing, and now I'm sitting on my deathbed with a big old smile on my face. Is there any final thoughts or words that you'd like to share, Erin?
Yeah. First of all, I love that. Is like, how can I look back and be so proud of what I created? Because here's what I know and what I believe. I believe that we were all put here for a unique purpose. Every single one of you listening has a purpose that God, source, divine, whatever higher power you believe in, laid on your heart, laid on your soul. You incarnated here to make an impact in whatever capacity that is for you. Right now, there's this beautiful shift in the way the world's operating, which is 100% creating space for you to rise up and you to shine. I know that the universe, God, source, divine wants you to be supported, like deeply, deeply wants to be the wind in your sails and to guide you to that next level of being. And even when it feels uncomfortable, and even when you feel scared out of your damn mind, and even when your voice shakes, I know that you have something to say. I know your soul is dope. I know your heart is so big, and your energy is massively transformational, and it is time for you to recognize and see yourself. What better time than to see yourself right now, when you literally have the time to see yourself, to look inward, and the answers are always inside of you. You deserve to be lit up and turned on and to live a massively abundant life, and like that is of the greatest service to every single person around you and to the world at large. And so don't ever look at yourself and not realize how fucking big of a deal you are. And I'm saying that to myself too, because we all need to hear that, I think.
Need that reminder. Yes, totally. Well, thank you so much for being on here, Erin. It was such a pleasure to have you on here once again. And thank you for allowing me to be on your podcast as well. And I hope that the information and practical steps that you guys got here today can help you on your journey to be happy, healthy, and wealthy, awakened leaders, so that you can go out in the world and make some changes out here with us, me and Erin, and the rest of us out here doing big things. So thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
Thank you so much.